Oh, hello, hello, hello. We are finally here on my channel.
Hello,
Hello. Terence is here, or Crack, the
I'm here.
Crackcast. It's me here as well. Be feeling old. Um, our car packed up, by the way, just to mention.
Oh, shitty. That
So we
sucks.
are zero vehicle in this household.
Oh, bummer.
So it's been a week of that. That's why my comic reading is kind of too minimal. I was
hmm
stressed a bit, but then we decided not to stress about it because there's nothing we can change. You know.
Nothing you can do about it. Exactly right. Yeah.
So it took a
Was it
while.
an older car?
Yeah, it was the most reliable one we had, and it
Mhm.
just decided to. And that's what happens in life sometimes.
Yeah, totally
Um,
happens. Yeah.
yeah, so it's kind of interesting in that sense, but it always happens when you don't want it. So nothing, and then you have to take a public transport, which is shit
Yeah, it
because we
sucks.
live in the middle of nowhere, and it's
When
expensive as
when my
well.
car packed it in, both of our cars, my wife and my car packed it in
Yeah.
at the same time. And
Oh,
because of our job, like we needed a vehicle. Like we can't, I just can't get around on public transport. So that was back when I was still at the union office. So I had some kind of
mhm.
consistency where actually they're both paid off at the end of this year, which is great. So because
Wow,
we've had them now like
really?
5 years or whatever, I guess. What year is
Yeah,
it? It's 2025. Yeah, I guess we've
yeah.
had them 5 years. Holy shit. So yeah, they're finally paid off at I think October of this year is when we're finally there. So yeah,
Wow, that's at least you have that milestone to look forward to. Like,
I mean it's gonna be great because then that money that we were paying into there, because since it's always gone anyway, we're just
yeah,
gonna put that into house payments because it's not like we'll like I think it'll just kind of transition over. We'll just pay more into the house, just put it
um,
into the house because we've got a long way to go for the house. But yeah.
yeah. Well, another thing, I made this StreamYard at the wrong time. I forgot to change the AM to PM. It's like I didn't really
Bummer.
realize. But
Wow, it's looking really bright out for 2:18 a.m. here in Winnipeg. Wow.
imagine you doing that. I have ever thought, oh, hello, Mister.
Oh, look at this.
Hello.
Hello, sleepy reader.
So you did come in. So I honestly I have wondered what, because I remember sometimes you watch YouTube. I don't know how you are, but I am like that. Sometimes I usually watch YouTube before I go to bed or sleep.
Mhm.
So it's kind of comforting. So I always thought like how much I can last. Like will I be able to? But I remember like I don't know who I was watching, but I was watching. By the time it hit 11:15 specifically,
Mhm.
my eyes were starting to you have to close your eyes now. It's time for you to pack. Go sleep. I was like,
Yeah.
this is it. I mean, I'm really getting to that point where I was like, I can't really do it. But also saying that, last night I stayed up so late because I was watching this Korean cooking show. I am
Oh
into
yeah.
Korean stuff big time. Yes,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you. You see, sorry. Like that's
Yeah.
what's weird. But yeah, just skip I don't know why they do that sometimes with those AMs and PMs, but like I don't, like if you don't think clearly, I don't know what was happening
Yeah,
that
yeah,
time when I
yeah.
was doing that shit. But I was watching Korean cooking show. It's just that. Oh, hello, Tim. How are you doing?
Hello, Howler Mouse. Folding
Yes.
laundry. Good
Oh,
work.
lovely. I hope, do you have the folding thing? I always wonder if people have this. Those
Oh
the
yeah, for the
plastic.
t-shirts thing? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I don't have it, but I always wanted to have one because it looks like really easy, even though I can do it
Yeah.
like quickly now. But anyway, digress. Cooking shows, fantastic. You do read subtitles a lot, but the way they express themselves and the way they cook, and I've always think how much overly the top people think about food and how much is like essential part of like Michelin star chefs. And that's the thing is about this cooking show is that the average Joe chefs who just only owns the restaurant, that's apparently average in that sense of that show, competes against those Michelin star chefs, and they're making it
Right.
kind of equal parts and stuff. Like fascinating, honestly. It's kind of really cool to watch, especially it's like Asian and the combination of what kind of kitchen they do, because I love Asian cooking as well. Oh, in the stream, trying to organize recently read comics right now. Nice. So yeah, that's my basically most of the viewing I've done, and I
Mhm.
watched that episode. So I watched that Korean show, and I ended up looking at the clock. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. It's like, wow, I need to go sleep.
Yeah, wow.
Because I got, like they catch you in, they finish the episode where you actually want to know who is gonna pass, and they finish it, and you're like,
Yeah,
fuck, I'm gonna press it to just find out. You press to find out, and then of course you're gonna stay always to right. I never end, and it's like, damn. Oh, falling, and I made it.
Yeah, I was gonna say making one from a cardboard box. That makes sense for sure. Yeah.
Kept sitting
Cat gets sitting on it. Yeah.
Yeah, cats love the cardboards. Huh? One of the fascinating
True.
things you can build for them is cardboards.
Tim had a live stream. Was it yesterday? I think I'm losing track of what day is what. I think it was yesterday, and he was showing off some stuff he got recently. And one of the things he got was he found himself a copy of it's a little golden book, and it's a Grover. There's a monster at the end of this book or whatever. I think that's what it's called. The monster at the end of this story. Classic book. As soon as I saw it, it just reminded me of like I read that when I was a kid. I read it to my kids a million times, and of course, when you read it to your kids, you got to try to do the Grover voice. So it's just such a good book. It's really, really clever.
No, I need to watch
it was nice to see that one again.
Cool. I haven't seen him on. Or maybe it's sometimes the notifications are a bit weird. I don't know if they are really.
I find I have to do the bell for people. And then when I do it, I've never had an issue. Or at least, excuse me, I don't think I've had an issue with things not coming to. Pardon me, stupid beer.
The beer's coming out.
Yeah, exactly. Damn beer. Yeah, so I think I usually get notifications a couple of times, so seems to work for me anyway.
I have this issue. So I have played with settings on my YouTube account. I don't know what I did. I don't know. I felt maybe bored one of the days, and I pressed something, and I cannot use the bell notification thing for any channel.
Oh, that's weird.
I mean, I didn't do research. I couldn't be bothered. Like it's not something I'm really concerned about. Especially when so my notifications works the best if I watch the channel on the same week. They will always notify. Like for example, I watched Damon's videos. He was doing his countdown video I was watching, and kept telling me Damon's videos coming up. So I was like, oh, great, But if I don't watch somebody's videos on one that week, I don't get notified anymore then.
I see.
So I don't know what's going on. What is this? Maybe it's a new thing on something like that.
Yeah,
and I also was watching a live stream of people talking collected editions yesterday, I think. I don't know, or whatever. And the now YouTube has this funny thing called experience points. If you comment, you get experience points. But I think you have to have a big community. Like I guess you have to have quite a bit of subscribers to have that. So I was watching somebody quite popular. I presume that's why they had that. That was kind of interesting. But why would?
Yeah, they got that on Twitch too. You can get Twitch points, and then you can use them. You can cash them in. I think it generates money for the person whose channel it is when people use those Twitch points on one of your streams. But I'm not quite sure how it works. But it'll do things like it'll make your comment highlight in bold, so the live streamer will see it and feature you or whatever, right? So or you can buy like custom emojis for the Twitch points or whatever. So yeah.
The only time I am using Twitch is to get something from it. So I don't know if I've ever told you, but I am kind of big into a fishing game. The Fishing Planet is a free, you can do it streaming.
I don't know, but okay.
Yeah, anyway, so it's very, very, very calming experience. It's kind of, and also in a way annoying if you can't catch the fish, but then you can catch a fish. Anyway, I digress. If I start to be on the rant, I would be here for hours. Anyway, so I use Twitch because they do drops, what they call them drops. It means that they give you like maps, opens up the maps. Happy Sunday, Mr. Gore. Oh.
Hello, Gore Vidal. Glad you liked it.
What killer announcement did you know?
The Killer comic. I think I talked about it here last weekend, maybe. I know I did on my Sunday chat anyway.
Yeah.
That one about the hired killer. Kind of a bleak one. Yeah.
So I use Twitch for that only. So it gives you an opportunity to get some maps opened up for you in the game. So I use Twitch only. But my shock was, I thought Twitch doesn't have ads. And damn, those ads were coming in and out. I was like, oh, what's going on? I thought Twitch don't have it. So Twitch now has ads, I presume. Quite a lot.
Interesting. When the little bit that I've watched Twitch, I only see ads right at the beginning, not during the stream. But again, maybe
Oh,
that's the specific channels that I'm watching because I don't watch Twitch a lot. I mostly
no.
go there for this guy Chicho that we were talking about last weekend.
Yes.
I usually watch his stuff on it. And then I've done some streams on it in the past during lockdown and watched some
Yeah.
stuff there. And the
Yeah.
only ads that came up ever were right at the beginning before you could
Mhm.
watch live. And then the rest of the stream, it was okay.
See. Oh, you. By the way, just a reminder, you forgot to send me a link for Teacher's YouTube channel.
I did. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I asked you and you didn't.
Check it out.
So you just reminded me. I mean, I would have forgotten this all, but now
Yeah,
you
yeah.
mentioned his name. It's like, oh, the bulb came up. So, have you managed to watch anything at all?
No, I didn't watch anything this week, other than because I started work this week, so we were on surveys
Yeah.
for this movie I'm working on. So, and then some presidential stuff, and then some, and then it was the weekend.
We managed to catch up to all the Taskmaster episodes, which you can watch every single one of them now on YouTube, which is fantastic.
Yes. It's a good season so far, hey?
Yeah, they picked a really good cast together.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, when they pick some random superstars or celebrities, whatever they want to call them, or comedians, whatever, but sometimes they don't gel. Like, it feels really awkward. But this time, Fatima is my favorite, of course, because she's brav. She's always just brav. Come on, man. And she gives so much shit to main guy. It's ridiculous. It's so funny. She's like, by the end of the show, you're gonna marry me. It's like, and he's like,
yeah.
But what is that name? So the American guy cuts the Greek.
I don't know, but he irritates the shit out of me.
So he's the funny, like, it's really good that he picks up really good times. I'm sorry, I'm blanking his name now.
I don't remember his name either.
Yeah, it's like the Greek name. So this is the only thing which I can remember. We caught on. Only thing I want to watch, which we haven't had a chance of, is Department Q. It's a new TV show, detective show, which is I think it's Netflix based. Show, but I haven't watched an episode, so I don't know what to say much. But I know it's a detective, which is always piques my interest straight away. I mean, I love my detective shows anyway. So we can start talking comics, I guess. Not that many
cool.
we have, but yeah, you do want to kick off and start?
Sure. Well, I mean, why don't we just start with this one, because this was probably my favorite read of the week. So I went to the secondhand bookstore, this Red River Comic Shop. I was looking to see if I could find, somehow I missed out on Out of Alcatraz issue number 2. Hello, Donald Rex. So I went there to see if maybe they had a copy. So no shop in town seems to have a copy of number 2. So of course, while I was there, I had to look through the bins and look through the shelves. And they had a bunch of Doctor Strange, Donald Rex. They had a bunch of Doctor Strange trade paperbacks. And this one, I recognized the title. And when I looked through, and you'll see in a minute, I was immediately, oh, this looks good. This was from, so it collects a 4-issue miniseries. So it came out, holy Jesus, that's such small, 2016, I think that says. So it collects a miniseries, a 4-issue miniseries, and then it has some extra stuff. And there's the list of all the creators. Sorry, say that again.
Forgerelli is already saying who's creative team, Tony Harris.
Yes, Forgerelli, hello. And man, oh man, so I tend to kind of shit on some of the new superhero stuff. This was so good. This entire thing, it was great from beginning to end. So this first 4 issues, this Flight of Bones story, it really felt like an old DC kind of Vertigo magical kind of realm book. So good, like legitimately fun. Doctor Strange kind of behaving in a way that Doctor Strange should. Some really, really great art throughout it. This sort of cult, he was up against this cult. And of course, Dormammu makes an appearance, and you get some beautiful stuff like this that almost reminds me of like P. Craig Russell type of layouts and things. So good. So that was a great start. And then this backup material, I think there's 2 stories that come from like an anthology. And then I think there's a couple of stories that are from like a Marvel Knights thing. Just let me And the beautiful thing about this later material is there's a lot of black and white stuff. So, for example, this first one, Strange Reflections, Michael Golden with John Beatty, Al Milgrom, and Richard Starking's comic craft for the lettering there. So some really great black and white art.
Yeah.
And what they also do is they end up giving a bit of a write-up as well, too, about the creators. Like, I mean, look at this, man. Super, super fun stuff. The one that really caught my eye, though, was there's Ted McKeever in here. So they'll do like a write-up on Jim Starlin. Then he'll talk about what he wanted to bring to the character with his story. And then you get the Jim Starlin, Doctor Strange. I mean, dude, come on. It's so great. So this was such a good score. I think it was $10 there. I don't know what these cost when they came out. Looks like $24.99 US when it came out, $32.99 Canadian. So $10 is a great score. I mean, not much to say about the stories individually, but and then this one is Michael T. Gilbert, who will also come up a bit later in stuff that I read. So this kind of color one where it's about this genie in a bottle and this sort of puzzle, and Doctor Strange is kind of hanging out with these kids. So this is probably the most kind of kid-friendly one. The rest of them are not as kiddie. Still beautiful art, though. Nice little story. But let's have a look at, I think Ted McKeever is coming up. So then this is The Mystic Hands of Doctor Strange, and there's 4 stories here. The Cure, written by Kieran Gillen, artist Fraser Irving. Melancholia, the writer Peter Milligan, artist Frank Brunner, of course. So This Is How It Feels is written and drawn by Ted McKeever. And then Duel in the Dark Dimension, written by Mike Carey and art by Marcos Martin. So some beautiful stuff here too. So I'll show you the Ted McKeever. I was surprised. I had no idea that McKeever did something. I mean, look at this. That's so good, man. That's so great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I liked it, McKeever.
I'll show you the McKeever. I had no idea that Ted McKeever did something in the Doctor Strange universe, so it was a nice surprise.
That's a surprise to me as well.
This is the Brunner stuff, I think, here.
That's cool. Brunner Brunner is cool.
Yeah. He did a bunch in the second volume of Doctor Strange. Here we go. So there's Ted McKeever. Was an interesting little story, but his style is really killer. I mean, that is such a Ted McKeever character there, if you know his stuff.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, a hell of a collection, Gore. I was pleasantly surprised because I mean, as much as the art, the art is what appealed me to it. I was surprised at how good and entertaining the stories were. It seemed like it just had the right kind of, like I said, that mix of kind of old DC Vertigo is what it really reminded me of, you know, reading like the Spectre stories or Dead Man stories and things. It was just kind of fun, also taking itself seriously, but not overly serious. And then Duel in the Dark Dimension here, which is mostly prose story with a couple of illustrations.
Too much.
And then I think there might be some pinup art at the back here as well, too. So
look at that.
So, what's that? Sorry?
I like that cover. Looks like a poster.
Cover art by Joe Quesada, Jimmy Palmiotti, and Haberlin Studios' David Kemp.
Interesting. Very 90s kind of feel to it, isn't it?
Totally, yeah. And then there's some sketches, Tony Harris on Doctor Strange giving a little bit of a write-up and character design and things and doing some sketchbook stuff. So well worth digging for this one if you can find it, especially if you're a fan of Doctor Strange. This was easily the best read of the week. So much fun. So there you go. The Good Doctor.
This is what Marvel needs to go back to doing, really.
Yeah.
To get people back into actually reading Marvel stuff, because the only thing I hear is about well, are you gonna go and buy, which just came out just this week, the new Hickman's Imperial event is coming out?
I don't think so. That's out already.
Yeah, so I think it came out this week. So, or is it gonna come out next week? I don't know. So
Mhm.
I have my comic book guy continues having shitloads of issues when it comes to image books. He kept saying to me he doesn't understand what's happening. They keep on telling him that there's distribution issues, blah blah blah. They're making all sorts of excuses, and now I don't even know what's coming out. Like, so I know what's coming out because I have, like nice Google to tell me when things coming out and what, and I see his list, and his list says completely different. So I send him a message saying, "What the hell is going on?" And he's like, I start apologizing to me because it's like, I don't know what to say to you. I don't know what's happening with the image stuff in generally. So he's having big problems with that. Because the art from this Marvel Nice Days is
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers there, Gore Vidal. No football, no cheerleaders. Yeah, thoughts and prayers.
Just
Let's have a moment of silence.
Put a good DVD on and have some popcorn. I think that works now, or doesn't it?
Yep.
Look,
it's called Pornhub. Gore, just type in cheerleader.
Excuse me.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were on
I'm trying to be nice here. You like just
sorry.
Pulls out that horrible website name on. Anyway, okay. I'm gonna put something out by surprise. Like, I'm gonna show you something which was surprise that I found, but I'm really glad that the library actually does it. So I found something in my library, which is based from where I am. So I'm in Oxfordshire.
Ooh.
And this created team is, well, at least Lewis Williams is definitely from Oxford. I don't know where Tom Wilkins is from, but they're both UK based. And they have their own publishing house because they do it everything with Kickstarter. So they publishing by having Monolith Comics is the imprint. They have Instagram and all that stuff. And of course, they're using greenteethpress.co.uk as like a printing house as well. But so this is what's plastered straight for you to see when you have, like when you, I don't know how it works, libraries in yours, but in ours, when you go up to pick up your books, you have this computer system, you sit down and buy it. There's some displays and shows you what they offer for that time. And this is what's on it. I really like the art straight away. It reminded me of the, all the Highlander, like Viking stuff feels. And this is what it kind of story of. Okay, Damien is being so it's called The Crossing. I don't really like the font, I must admit. I am really kind of funny. I always found it really difficult when they have the 4 fonts. This is no better. It's like, oh, that's really, like gives you kind of like makes my eyes marble, to be honest, when I read. But it's a story about a man who's crossing this great place, and he wants to get into where the gods have started this earth. And this is a character we're going to follow through the whole book. And at the beginning, it does look like a grandpa with his grandson going on a trip, and grandpa is telling the story teaching his grandson how actually things came to be, how Earth got existed, that gods were in charge, as many of them, and they, that this is how the importance of having the gods in. One thing I must tell you, this book is really dark. It feels very dark. It's on purpose because while the story starts from the beginning, there's no light. They haven't yet discovered there is fire. So I presume that's the intent was. But honestly, while you're reading it, it becomes quite difficult to get used to it. And I find it quite funny with my eyes lately. But even though, things happens. But the story starts, as I say, grandparents' teachings of the younger generation to understand the history, where they come from, and how everything came to be. And from there, the story just becomes more involved. You start to understand the premise, what's happening. What was surprising to me is what happens to our 2 characters on the journey while you're going there. It seems to be everything is really good. Like the grandparents, I didn't have any grandparents to understand like great experiences, but now looking at my mom talking to my son and kind of grasp the idea of how I think important to have grandparents in your life, because they have a very different perspective from your own parents. and they, like more at ease to tell you things how it's happened, and but you still have that youth in not understanding the importance of history, which happens, but I guess to all of us. And in here they kind of express that quite a lot about it. So it's really good read. The end was very surprising because who died and who didn't. The gods involved, they all turned into animals. So there's bisons, there is kind of hyena type, there's a wolf, there's a sun person here. So all the gods' imaginations and stuff. But the whole premise of this is the torment of one guy's journey to the end of his life. And that end was kind of surprising because he kind of like why he was going there, what was the point, and who he was talking to. Is he going crazy? And it's really well told, honestly, really well written. That I got more and more involved in, like I started to get used to the art style as well. Not that I needed to, but I guess the coloring what bothered me the most because of the darkness. They used quite a lot of dark, or maybe the way it got printed on this paperback. But I know this thing got kickstarted in order to become what it is now on the paper. So I'm really glad to see that library has that on display straight away for people to see, so they get the exposure straight away for people. So the minute I saw this cover, I like, yeah, I'm picking this up from library and I'm gonna read it.
Cover.
And I really, really enjoyed it. And surprised the end was unfortunate, to be honest. I'm not gonna say what it is because I kind of like was not that I didn't know that it might have happened, because like when you read lots of stories, you kind of start to get a little bit sense of what's happening in here. But yeah, it was really good and rewarding. So I went in to see the web Instagram. I started following the artist because apparently he's doing some other work, which is, I'll tell you, the Kickstarter just finished. Next work for them is going to be Kings of Dead. So it's really cool. I mean, I like the style of it. I like the way it feels. Like everything they intend. Also, it's nice to have this. I've started more and more appreciating the writes up about the creators or back matter. I find it really, really entertaining and take more time. This is about the writer. So the writer had intent of writing all the time. Like he has a story. He has the story. He had the about story about one guy having this great journey, but then it flourished to something new. He lost the artist he was intending to, and the artist who basically ended up drawing this book, he got by chance because he was at a university as a artist student, but he was deciding that whether I'm going to become a comic artist or not, or should I go somewhere else. When a friend told him about this guy who's writing the story, they met up and they go, you have a book. So some happy situation happens to people. So yeah, it's nice that they got Kickstarter. I heard a lot of it now lately, but Kickstarter is actually the best place to go now for the creators if they actually want to have the monies. You know what I mean? Like actually get the money for your work and hard earned time. I also even heard people of caliber of Scott Young thinking about Kickstarter. He has the Stupid Fresh Mess, which is very popular apparently. He's now creating lots of things and work for himself rather than relying on the companies who's employing him. Even himself thinking of that. Because nobody is, safe. At the end of the day, big twos are deciding what's going to happen. So you are on their own mercy. But people who has the ability to go forward or think of future, what else can they do? Just become self-sufficient when it comes to funds. So they even spoke about Kickstarter as a great way to deal with that situation, because now apparently Kickstarter has changed some sort of things. Now they include, for the creators, they know that how much the shipping should have happened. So everything is included in the price. I think, if I understood what they said, maybe I'm wrong, because I don't tend to really go for Kickstarting because especially if it's American based, because the shipping will be astronomical. The pricing.
Well, and it's also, you can really get down a rabbit hole with Kickstarter. And that's the thing. There's a bunch of funding options now out there, which is great. I agree with you. I think it's great that artists have an opportunity to create something themselves and get the money directly as opposed to going to a company. I think that's a really good option. And yeah, you're right. I mean, you can't count on, especially as a contractor or I guess that's the best word for it. When you're in that kind of business, where you're kind of relying on jobs coming in, you've got to make yourself accessible in many different ways, right? So
Yeah, so I don't remember what's the podcast, but it's like artists podcast. They come and
Mhm.
have guests. Like quite a few of them on YouTube now. I think they also acknowledge that a lot of podcasts now is another thing to put your eyes, like like get your face out there in the public, and people understand. If they start following you on YouTube and you get crack of that, kind of have people following in there, it helps your work forward. Like it pushes your work forward, and then you get more exposure, even more what the social media can do for you. So yeah, it's
Mhm.
very interesting with those. So yeah, Monolith Comics, if you guys want to check it out, they're all on
Cool.
Instagrams and socials. Then you can find about them more and see actual date, because he does live streams apparently, the
Okay.
artist.
And is
So
that the first? I missed for a minute. I had to run upstairs. Was that the first thing that they put out on this company?
I think so. As much
Yeah.
as research I did, but I think this is the first like proper published work for like from the beginning to the end. And I think,
Mhm.
as I understand, they get like I think they kickstart as far as I remember, that the new one, the Kings of Dead, will be coming out. I think you can kickstart like in issues. I think first, so they sell single issues, and I think after later on they get collected into this kind of format and stuff like that. So
Mhm. Mhm.
it's really nice to see that locally based work. Like I know you show a lot of your Manitoba works, comic books. So it's nice for me to basically get exposed by just going to library, which is absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic if you can get that work in the library and they are willing to display that straight for people to see. So it's really good. So I'm really
Yeah.
pleased.
Totally is. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I love that kind of part of libraries for work.
Yeah. Um.
Yours.
So the next one for me, speaking of like self-published and things, the good
Tundra.
old The Mark of Quality,
Mhm,
Tundra
mhm,
Comics.
mhm.
So this is one. I think this was a Nate gift when he sent me the comics. This is Fun Boys Spring Special with
Mhm.
a double cover. Dun dun dun.
Oh my.
Double cover. So there's the kind of title page there.
Mm.
So this one has an interesting, like it caused me to kind of go down a bit of a rabbit hole. So the creator here is a guy, Jeff Bonavert, who we'll talk about in a minute. And there's a bit of an introduction here by Michael T. Gilbert, who we were just talking about, with that Doctor Strange story in color with the genie in the bottle. Just kind of giving backstory on how he met Bonavert in the late 70s at a comic, or it looks like a 1975 Bay Con is what it, so in Berkeley, California. And he met him, and he was kind of surrounded by a bunch of artists who were blown away by his artwork at that time. So it's changed. I read something else that will kind of tie into this. We'll see some of his 70s style. So this one is a story of just three friends, these three kids. It's a Saturday morning. Tim, if you're in the room, I think you would dig this book. It's just these three kids. It's Saturday morning. They're powering through their breakfast because they've got to get to the comic shop. I think it's Pop's Comics Shop. No, maybe it's not. Anyway, they're going to a comic shop to be there for when it opens. Yeah, it is Pops. We're going to Pops. So because they're going to go buy some new comics, and what they end up buying actually is the newest issue at this time of Fantastic Four. When this story is set in the 70s, they're buying the new issue of Fantastic Four. So it's filled with stuff of just kind of the dynamics of each of the families, first of all, so you get to a little bit of sense of the characters. It's not horrible art. It has an interesting look to it. The art kind of didn't blow me away in this one. But on comparing to his older work, I can see where he's kind of adapted his artwork for storytelling. So then we get a section. They all kind of meet up. They're on their bikes, traveling through the neighborhood, kind of shit talking each other. The last one there is this, that, and the other thing. They arrive at Pop's comic book shop, and he's closed, and he hears them, of course, outside, opens it up. So it's just a really good, fun little book, fun little story of just that kind of enthusiasm for comics and that kind of child quality of how this was so exciting. I mean, it's still exciting for me now, to be honest, but especially at that time, going out and exploring the city. So they each get a copy of the new Fantastic Four, and they're going to go to the park to sit and read, where they meet the neighborhood bully, and the neighborhood bully kind of gives them a hard time, and shit sort of hits the fan.
Mm-hmm.
So in this write-up, and then Pops does something really nice at the end. He kind of gives him another one. The bully rips up one of the... Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. Yeah, exactly. So the bully rips up one of the guy's comic books. He kind of grabs it from him and rips up the issue of Fantastic Four. They go back to the shop, and Pop is like, I don't have any left. Can you repair the one I had? He's like, I absolutely can't. I'm sorry. But I actually have a copy that I kept behind the counter because I didn't think it would sell, because it has a double cover, which is why they put this one in a double cover as well, too. So they were all really kind of surprised by that. And one of the friends kind of hangs back a bit and goes, Pop, you were going to keep that one for yourself, weren't you? Because it's a collector's item. You were passing it on to be nice, right? He's like, you may have got me there, my friend. So just a really nice, touching story of just a few friends reading comics. So when I was reading the Michael T. Gilbert stuff, what I didn't realize is that Michael T. Gilbert had some stuff in the underground comics, including this one, which is New Paltz Comics. This is issue number 3, the only one that I have, with a fucking stunning cover here by Larry Todd. Yeah, front cover by Larry Todd, back cover by Michael T. Gilbert himself. And Bonavert is in here. So at the time that this came out in 1977, Bonavert was supposed to put out a underground comic that collected his first stuff. I don't remember how old he was, 20 years old, 17 years old, 18 years old. I'm not exactly sure. But his style that they were talking about at the 1975 Comic Con was this. So this is what Bonavert's stuff looked like. So there's 3 stories in here by him. And the stories themselves are decent. But it's his art that is really just exceptional. Yeah, cool. So this New Paltz was sort of along the lines of like Star Reach and Imagine. It was more kind of a ground level book, because there's nothing really filthy in here. There's nothing super transgressive. This is more kind of like sci-fi / horror stories in here. But I'd say they'd really fit in with kind of like the Star Reach of the time and stuff. But so this is what his style looked like. And apparently it took him a long time just to do a page. We're talking kind of weeks. I imagine a lot of these people that were doing the undergrounds, well, maybe not a lot of them, but some of them actually had jobs, damn hippies. But it took him a long time, and it just wasn't the best style to kind of fire off some stories. So Bonavert has also appeared in some Star Reach and Imagine. And there was something else that he appeared in that I'm just blanking on right now. I didn't have it, because I'm going to try to dig out the Star Reach books that I have, because I think I've got the whole series, because I'd like to see more of his stuff. When I saw his art again, it really reminded me that I have come across it in Undergrounds before. So the rest of this book is really, really fun. This one here, no, not this one here. And then, of course, you get some pinups and things. So there is a little bit of nudity in it, but it's not anywhere near what was happening in a lot of the undergrounds. So the one surprise in this book was there is an underground comic version of a Martian Manhunter story in here. And Michael T. Gilbert does a lot of the pencils, and then he had people come in and ink some different pages. So he's got kind of like a rotating list of people as he does his kind of homage to the Martian Manhunter in this short little story. So super fun little strip. We also get Steve Lealoha, I believe is his name, with Pan, I think, or something, reading Warlock, which I guess was a comic that he also inked himself. I'm sure everybody in the chat will kind of correct me if I'm wrong about that. So that's kind of cool, getting that pin up. Then we get another Bonavert story as well here called Rot, about this kind of zombie skeleton and kind of protecting the graveyard. But just a really, really bold style that I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like this in the time. Even in the undergrounds, I feel like it really stood out. One of my favorite artists from the underground is this guy Grizzly Boxel, not Ben Boxel. Anyway, something Boxel. He went by the pen name Grixley. I love that lettering. I love the kind of use of the space here. So this one is about these group of guys. Yeah, there you go. These group of guys who, this one character, his dad calls him, don't go anywhere near those fruits. Meaning, of course, homosexual old men that are trying to diddle little boys. Turns out they're actually vegetables. They're like this alien race, and they're actually vegetables, which is kind of like a silly little gag or whatever. But the art is pretty great there. And then last but not least, I'll just show you a couple more pages here, some more pinups. And
cool, man, look at that.
It's amazing. It's a really fun little book. It's super thick. It's like 60 pages or something. So you get quite a bit of bang for your buck. This is an artist that I started looking up, Mark Rowland, and I couldn't find any information other than I think he's still around today, but does a lot of paintings and things. But his art really kind of struck me. It was almost like a Jim Thompson kind of underground cartoonist, just not as detailed. Jim Thompson is a guy I've talked about before. He had a very, very detailed, noodly kind of hair style to it, like highly, highly detailed. But this was a stunner. The story was kind of a little hard to kind of get a handle on. But the art, I think, is gorgeous because it's just that little bit wonky, but still looks beautiful in its own way. I mean, stuff like this is fantastic.
Is that a rabbit with a... Is that a rabbit?
There is a rabbit here, yes. There's some sort of story. I think this is a guy who's traveling through space, and he's able to kind of like astral project himself to these planets and kind of help affect the planet is kind of what I got from it. It's pretty, like this is probably the one that's most kind of hippie, that maybe fits the most in with like underground comics, because it's a little bit out there, right?
Maybe you should have had some mushrooms before reading it.
Exactly, yes. And then the final Bonavert was Black as Ink. So I think two of these stories that they reprinted in this one were supposed to be in his one-man book that got kind of canceled. They hint at it in here in the write-ups, but they don't talk about who was supposed to originally publish it. So two stories that were supposed to be there and one that I guess he created just for this. So amazing stuff. Any chance I can get to kind of go back through the underground comics is always a good thing. But so there you go. That's the only one that I have. I think there was only 3 issues. There might have been 4 of New Paltz Comics, but New Paltz Comics was from a company called Mood Comics that Michael T. Gilbert did himself. So he was Mood Comics. So yeah, tying it all together here, as we like to do.
Cool. Go saying that he got something from Brian K. Vaughan.
Nemesis, Brian K. Vaughan. Substack comic now collected. A Substack. People are doing comics on Substack. That's interesting. I guess that makes sense.
Some that fly too. Oh my god. Females can fly?
Flying naked ladies? I mean, I'm sold.
I wonder if you would say a naked man flying in the air, what you will say. I'd still get it.
Yeah, sure. I got nothing against Nick. It's totally fine. I'd prefer naked ladies, but I got nothing against naked men.
By the way, did you hear about the thing happening with Mark Millar and Matt Hollingsworth?
No, I didn't.
So
are they canceled? What happened? The Nazis?
No, Matt Hollingsworth has called out Mark Millar that he's not paying him money anymore for his work with him. It seems to be Mark has been in the wrongs now because he's, I guess he cut him off as far as now. I don't know the full details, but maybe I thought I'd ask you, maybe you heard something about it. But it's interesting that something that you have to be really annoyed by a person is that if you actually go to socials and boycott his work, because his Chrononauts book coming out or reprinted again, gets reprinted in the hardcover. Something, and that's something happens with Matt's putting on socials complaining about Millar not doing his Oh, were you shocked about?
Yeah,
Oh, man,
Gordon
man in
Bell's
there.
shocked by the Naked Man. Yeah.
What, you
I
don't
mean,
like him?
that's unfortunate. I mean, I feel like if someone's going to
Yeah.
social media,
Mhm.
I would think that for most people that's a last resort. So it must be pretty bad if they're going to social media
Yeah,
to
that's
kind of
what I'm
call them out.
saying to you. I mean, generally,
Yeah.
not really a lot of things gets called out, especially in socials, because knowing socials how things can escalate to a point of no return. You must have been really, really annoyed. But Matt Hollingsworth is like the best colors you can have in the industry, and you're gonna wrongdo him. So, and especially because knowing how much money, or apparently how much money has signed, Miller has signed for getting his rights for doing all the shows and stuff like that.
Well, and I thought Miller still had a contract with Netflix, and that was part of doing the comics. That
Yeah,
he was also using
Yeah.
it as a bit of a breeding ground for creating stories and stuff. And
Yeah.
especially, yeah, exactly what I was going to say. And it's especially bad when it's someone who kind of knows the comic world and has
Yeah.
fucked around another creator. Like,
But
that
then
makes it even worse.
the worst thing, if you watched his interviews, Millar's, I mean,
Yeah.
you know that he's always kept saying that I'm doing better job than the big companies, big twos, because I'm paying fair, blah blah blah. And you're the one who's doing that in public. You actually announce that in publicly, so everybody knows that you're supposed to be a good guy. And then suddenly you have this kind of thing coming out. Doesn't. I mean, you must be really done something to Matt to get that. Yeah. Well, I don't
Indeed,
think
Lord,
they
get
have
the
as
lawyers.
good. Yeah, maybe they don't have the good lawyers as yours, Gorse. Maybe you should just give him like a,
Yeah.
you know.
Do we cheat him and how? Get him on the phone. Get him on the horn.
No, it's horrible. Especially the guy who
It is
he's been in the industry for a long time, is well regarded. He's done beautiful work at anything Max Collingforth works is beautiful. He does tremendous coloring jobs, no matter which book I've seen. I'll always kind of like enjoy knowing that that guy is on the book, because I know the work will be definitely great, especially when it comes to colors and stuff like that, which is really part of another vital part of comic book creating, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to ask if you knew that, but it's very sad to hear that kind of stuff, especially, you know.
Yeah,
like,
it's unfortunate, man.
yeah, great. Anyway, I'm gonna show you something I haven't finished reading, but I wanted to show it off. Oh wait, we can be there. There you go. You're here. You're back.
I recognize this one.
So this one has been. Oh, why are you here? I don't know why you're showing. Can I just? Oh no, it's not gonna disappear.
Ooh, a map.
Yeah. Why is this there? Anyway, sorry for technical. Maybe this is like, I don't know why it's showing this, but this has been also on Kickstarter because they wanted to have a what they call it. It wanted to have it as a collected edition, and this is originally being published in Scout Comics. I don't know. Is Scout Comics still in existence? Do you know?
Scout Comics, I'm not sure.
Are they
Damien might know.
Yeah, because I remember there was a time when everybody was showing Scout comic books in single format, and will come out, and they were having these fresh ideas, creators, and coming out. So, but yeah, always a good start with a comic book when they have a map. So it's a fantasy, almost kind of D&D feel to it, to be honest. Nor that I know about D&D. I've never played. So do you know more about? Have you ever played, Terrence, D&D?
I've never played D&D myself, no, but I know a lot about it. I had friends in high school that played it, and I hung out with the D&D crowd and read comics. To be totally honest, that's kind of, we hung out in the lunchroom in high school, and I would listen to them play D&D while I read comic books.
So this one is.
Yeah.
So this is, like, you can see Scout Comics, by the way. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So this is creators of this book. So Marcus, I never heard of him, by the way. So this is very brand new for me, the creators teams. Oh, there you go. Scout seems to be gone. So that's why I heard about them. In order to get this book on a like collected in a hardcover edition or whatever editions they wanted to produce, they had to go Kickstarter, and that's how they got produced. This is, of course, I'm doing digital format, so of course I'm not doing it. But this is a story about this main girl who is kind of like all into fighting. She's very much into sword fighting. She's bored of doing anything like chory things. She likes killing monsters. She's like really happy to just slay things around. And in this world they have monsters, but they also it starts with this like opening page where a unicorn is basically telling his last rites. Really, he's telling a story of like, okay, maybe it's this the birth. I was born on this field, and now I'm kind of about to die. And you see her body, and she's on the hunt of unicorns because apparently her boyfriend got killed by unicorns. And she is the one, and then you basically get at the beginning where I've read, you get introduced to her, where she's from, where the people really learn. Kind of they have technology, so he has this funky thing on his head, so they have like technology that's really, but also they don't have technology for like working in the land. So it's kind of interesting, kind of like, you know, like you have helmets, swords, and kind of thing, but you also have this kind of like artificial intelligence in your eyes, and like electricity you can clearly see. But they kind of like slash medieval slash new age kind of thing, mixture of both, I guess. So yeah, they complain to her that she's bringing too much of this monsters' heads because apparently they make soups, and they complaining that she keeps bringing them back, and she's not participating in the community, and it's time for her to go. They banishing her because of her. They're not agreeing with her. She's not part of the community, and she have this conversation with the elder, and she's like, I don't know what to do. You're on and she's on the quest of revenge because a boyfriend or friend, you know, like boyfriend friend who has been basically killed. It's very beautifully done for people who have not heard. Like graphically designed color schemes, that inking. I can't really flaw this book. It's really well done. The use of the panels, as you can see, is also very dynamic. I like the shots the creator is using. All these 4 panels are one of my favorite things to look at. You know, like it goes through, and the eyes and stuff, and the intent, the slashing, you know, like that kind of stuff. So it's really nice. So it seems to be quite cool. She gets to kill once again. While she's traveling, she gets this like fish squid kind of thing to deal with, and kill itself, and said that it doesn't taste really good. But then because I guess the map is necessary because it's going to show her travels to going to the destination she wants to, and she gets to this town called Lycus, a trading port city off the coast of Fange, I don't know how you say it. But she gets to this town, and the town has the problem of a magician, and she gets into this merchant's house, and they basically tells her half a story about the people, you know, what's happening in this town and who's in charge of it. And she ends up basically helping them as well. So it's really kind of like a lot of action. It's very easy to read. I just haven't had enough time to finish it all off. But I'm thoroughly enjoying what I see. You know, fantasy with animals talking, you know, unicorns. When it gets to unicorn part, I always get really kind of fascinated by it, how they will get that unicorn thing. So apparently unicorns are the evils in the storyline. But to her detriment, while she's doing saving of this town by chance, she's going to save those unicorns who she's basically after. And her intent is to kill them all and get rid of them all from the existence. So it's kind of interesting. So there's that kind of start. And yeah, so it's really cool. I really like the way, and this is the magician she's going to go after in chapter 2. And they show you the backstory, what happens to her husband, seems to be. So yeah, it's very, I mean, intent is great. I think everything, storytelling is great. The visuals are fantastic. The light choices of light and how everything, it just looks really professional. So I know why they were kind of published by Scout Comics, I presume. And it's a pity that the Scout Comics is gone and they can't do anything. But thankfully, like I say, once again, Kickstarter is there for them to help to go and get the name out. So yeah, so if you haven't checked it out, and they have a screecher, like, this is fantastic. This is the eyeball. And she's like, yeah, I'm working for this thing. And then she's kind of like a servant of this magician guy who is like, has also a horn like unicorn. But yeah, it's fantastic. It's nice characters so far, and it's easy to follow and entertaining, you know, like nothing too overcomplicated, let's say this way, which I like. You know, sometimes they overcomplicate the storylines. So
yeah, to make it seem like it's a good story, they just fill it with a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But this one is really easy flowing story going forward. You know, like it feels really good to read, kind of thing. I just want to end to see where it ends, but I unfortunately, as I say, timing wasn't great this week for me in reading. Yeah.
Cool.
Your turn. Your turn. Your turn.
So again, another gift from Nate. And then also going down the Dark Horse rabbit hole. So this is issue 1 of a 4-issue series called Atlas by a guy, Bruce Zick, that I've talked about a few times because he did, among other things, the Zone Continuum, which I've talked about. I really like his art in the Zone Continuum. And then I've also read Terminal Point was the other one that I've read from him. I like Zone Continuum a little more than Terminal Point, but his style is super cool. And I think that's the draw here. This one really seems like this one is a very, very much a throwback to kind of classic, maybe Marvel comics. There's even a 2-page spread in here that is unbelievably like Kirby. So as much as it's his style, this is 1994. As much as it's his style, this feels more like an homage to kind of Marvel comics and things. I love this panel with this giant hand, this giant creature. Oh, you've met him a few times. Amazing. This giant hand as we have this giant person or god or whatever it is that crashed down in the city. I love this page. The way he's positioned between those buildings is fucking perfect. Yeah. Even though they kind of mess it up a little bit with the perspective here, possibly. It's pretty close to here, actually, if you look at it. But this is a really great page.
It's like a Gulliver
story. Sorry, what's that?
You know the Gulliver story? Is that like similar? Yeah. Okay.
And they reference it exactly on this page, like Gulliver's Travels is what they exactly reference. So one of the people touches his magical scepter. Yes, a scepter, not anything else. And he gets an idea of who he is. And they're these cosmic gods that have been battling to protect Earth. And our Atlas character is the one that's been protecting Earth. So he shrinks down to kind of human size there. And kind of tells the story. And that's where I lost interest a little bit. He's able to give humans power as well, too, which he kind of shows them just for a moment. And this woman is like, oh, my God, I feel incredible. Steel feels like rubber. I can't believe it. And she just feels rejuvenated. So, of course, there's a battle. And here's the unbelievably Kirby spread here, which is pretty gorgeous. It's a really nice looking couple of pages. So it wasn't a bad book. It didn't do too much for me other than enjoying the art. If I saw the other issues, I would grab it, but I'm not going to be on the hunt for it. It wasn't a mind-blowing issue number 1. So, and again, like you were talking about, and I think Jim Rugg has talked about it in the past too, this idea of some artists using a little too much browns and things, and it does end up kind of darkening some of the pages.
I know.
Not that this needs to pop or anything, but it does feel like it's a little muddy at times with the kind of color choices on some of these pages. So, what else to say about this one? Not too much.
Do you know how many issues it was going for?
How many? 4-issue miniseries for this one. The stuff that I have from Zick, it seems like all of that stuff are miniseries. So he gets kind of the surprise of this god that we're now being introduced to is starting to appear on Earth. And our very last page is him kind of becoming in a real form, which, excuse me, that's another solid page there too. So, so yeah, overall fun. So Atlas from Dark Horse Comics. And again, said it a million times, but it's always amazing to me how much Dark Horse has put out over the years that have just kind of been lost to time. So it's fun trying out stuff like this from them.
Do you think because of that, I kept saying all the time, I think last time we were talking about Dark Horse, is that label with the white background of the Dark Horse is always people saying it's the gems you have to find. It seems to be there was like an era for Dark Horse where they're producing really great work. And it's very difficult to find that era of Dark Horse books as well.
It is tough, yeah, and that's kind of why I'm more like, if I see them in the cheap bins, I'm more willing to just grab them just because, because I see that, and I'll more often than not give something a try if it has Dark Horse on it. Oh, nice designs for feature animation Hollywood movies. That's crazy.
That's cool.
Everyone goes to Hollywood, it seems like.
Yeah, Hollywood is the promised land we've always wanted.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Where you can get taken advantage on a gigantic scale.
But wait, you're missing the
I'm
point.
sick of getting ripped off in comics. I want to get ripped off by Hollywood.
But the money, we're talking about money.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask. So, have you read Rick Remender's Punisher run?
I have a long time ago, because then it eventually turns into Frankencastle,
Yes.
which I personally loved. I thought it was a lot of fun. I don't have the issues anymore. I traded them away or sold them off a long time ago, but I do remember reading it, and I do remember liking it quite a bit.
So, apparently, since like a decade ago, the omnibus has finally been reprinted. You can available to buy it now. Like it's been released this month, I think. So because there's so much release going on, by the way, it's
There's a lot,
ridiculous.
yeah.
There's so much going on with the like collected editions that we're now talking about. And I saw it's like, oh my god, I've never read the Rick Remender's Punisher. I haven't really read that much of Rick Remender's Marvel work, to be honest. What is he writing here? Milestone celebrated 4 years anniversary begin with John Byrne's X-Men with the option to have signed by Roll Perlman.
That's pretty cool.
Wow. Who will be in the next
4-year anniversary.
Yes.
Happy anniversary.
Only 4 years? Sounds like it's forever you've been talking about that LCS of yours. Maybe I'm just dreaming. So anyway, I'm talking about the Punisher. I always wanted, and seeing that omnibus, and knowing that this omnibus has also been out of print for so long, and it's been now in print again, and it's going to get sold out really quickly because, of course, like always, if it's something popular, just like blink and they're out, and you can't have time to think about it. Pull the plug or not pull the plug again. We also gave away. Oh, lovely! Wow, that's
$4.49. Amazing
condition that book was given away. I wonder, how much money can they splash? Can you tell us? Do you know? It would be nice to know, Gore. Because it's usually quite a pricey book these days because of this Fantastic Four movie about to come out in next month, isn't it? July, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. Was there something special about 49? Was there some first appearance or something in that one?
Yeah. Silver Surfer and Galactus appearance.
Oh, in number 49. Holy shit. That is a big book to be given away.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think that's why he made
Wow.
That's why I said to you, what condition did they give that book away? Because that would be quite especially at this time. Oh, Galactus. I don't know if there's 48 and 49 both together. So I don't know which one is like first, like the first glimpse appearance and then full appearance. I think it's the first glimpse, then 48 and 49 is a full appearance.
Yeah.
Oh, I can show you if I dare. But I still have it. This monster of the book in here.
Oh yeah.
So they have.
Look at that sucker. That's so great. Make yourself big again.
Wait. Let me just oh wait.
That's amazing. That was from Damien, wasn't it?
No. This one I got it. It was cheap.
Oh, this one you bought.
Yeah.
Didn't Damien send you a gigantic fucking book at some point?
Yeah. The Doctor Strange one.
Ah, right.
Wait. So this is the 48. I can't even see myself. This is the 48 issue. Can you see? So this is
so amazing.
48. Let me see if I can find the 49. But in this format, it beats any comic book, to be honest. Wait.
Oh, shit, yeah, it does.
Oh my! It's not really easy to handle, eh? Wait.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh, he's all purple, by the way. He has purple and browns, so he's not still having. Oh, that's 50. So I'm all the way up already. Come on, you can do it. Come on, there you go. That's the 49. We're talking. Oh no, he even was green and red and stuff. Well, let me see. Oh, help me here. Can I do this? Oh, it's not very easy. You can see?
Oh yeah, I know that cover. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the cover he's talking about. But look at the way Galactus looked like.
So good. I mean, I think it looks pretty great.
So this was a mistake, by the way. Yeah, I know. Because when they released this book, guess what the price was on this one? $50 for this.
$50 American?
Yeah, and 63 Canadian. But after that, I think they did a reprint. Did they? I think they did a reprint after this, and they put the £100 or $100 price tag afterwards. So I think they made a mistake when they released this one, because in this format to have for such a price. But it's like
Yeah, I mean, that
it's
seems
so
like a
nice to
mistake.
just look at it, behold the Galactus. But yeah, it's a book to exercise with. Yeah, my muscles. But yeah, it's like such a
Absolutely.
big. It's actually quite cool because you just open it and you see all these beautiful color schemes. Oh, I love that.
Oof. See what Damien's
What?
saying there?
No, Damien, you
25 bucks
cannot.
on InStock plus
Ah,
free shipping for InStock, isn't it, Damien?
yeah.
In the States. So that's a
Okay.
hell of a deal.
Oh, I didn't. But they know the winners of the both books and they were ecstatic. I bet who wouldn't
I
be?
bet.
I would be jumping from like I won the lottery, like if you get Fantastic Four 49. But anyway, if you have this book like that, you're kind of okay. Because
Yeah.
it's ginormous, but I love it. I have it here always on display because I don't want to ever forget that I own this book because I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
Love those giants, but it's just very difficult. Yes, free shipping. Oh my god, that was steal and a half. Oh, did you know that? Yeah, did you know that New Frontier Absolute Edition is coming out, reprinted again?
Oh,
So
nice.
Darwin Cook's treatment.
Yeah.
Do you own those Martini?
I do have the Absolute Edition already. Yeah. And then I've got the single issues finally too. I finally found them after years of looking, or I'm pretty sure I have all of the single issues now. I'm pretty sure I've got them all. But yeah, I've got the Absolute Edition. It's one of my favorites. I've got his Parker Martini edition as well too, which is pretty much the same size. Like, I do not have both. I only have the first one. I missed out on the second one because I just couldn't pull the trigger on it.
Because the second one I heard there was a Brubaker work there.
Correct. Yeah, there's another an added story in there that didn't come out anywhere else but in that Martini edition, which I think is probably why the price started to kind of climb.
Yeah. Because I heard that they're not really happy with that Brubaker's writing, apparently. It's one of the worst
really?
Brubaker has ever written, which kind of
is that true?
Well, Oh, look. Yes. All of those. How many there were there?
How many were there? And are they artist edition size for Girelli? Because I don't think you have artist edition, do you, Rasa?
No, I do.
Oh, you do? Which one do you
give
have?
Give me a second.
Sure. Yeah. I'll fill time. So nothing in my hands, nothing up my sleeves. Yeah, I mean that size of a book is pretty incredible. Double XL books.
Oh, don't get attached. Wait. I need to get my headphones in. Right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Damien. Must have been a mistake. They put it out and had the wrong price on it or something, so quickly did another printing. Oh, yeah, nice. Commandy.
Yep. So it's the only one I have. Jacoby work, Jacoby. I have to have it. It's nice. But it's definitely not as big as those extra large.
Right.
But yeah, it's nice to see the stuff now.
Because it looks like because I've got the artist editions that I have, two of them look like they're bigger than the one you're currently holding.
Really?
One is the Spirit and one is that Batman Year One. It feels like it, but it's hard to tell over the.
Yeah, the Cook's sign.
Oh, shush, that's awesome. Sign and a sketch.
Of course, never sell that. You sell the newer version, Absolute, if you want to sell it. Next Man book was first Hellboy. Yes, graded 9.6.
Graded 9.6 FF. Also graded 4.0. Wow.
Well, 4.0 is still quite good price fetching.
Shit, yeah, man.
The Next Man. Oh, first Hellboy. First, was it Next Man? Oh, yeah, it is. I have that book. What I'm talking about.
9.6.
Okay, let me see if I can exercise. I'll show you the difference. If I exercise it again. Oh my god, man. I don't know. You're making me go to gym without me asking for it.
Oof. Yeah, that's definitely bigger.
Okay, yeah. Oh, jeez. Wait. I don't have that much muscle strength. I can't lift them both. I don't know how I'm going to do this.
Yeah, that's fine.
Ow. Wait.
Careful. Don't drop the books.
Yes.
It's okay if you hurt yourself. Just don't drop the books.
Excuse you. Wait. I'm about to do
legs grow back. You'll be fine.
There. The difference.
Wow. Yeah, so quite a bit bigger.
It's like putting a comic book next to your Absolute, I presume.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, look. I did it.
Wild.
You see? So giants. Oh, you met him as well?
I mean, I think that he would have been an amazing guy to meet, even more so, amazing guy to sit and have some drinks with at the bar. Some of
Oh,
the
bet.
stories I bet you he would tell, like I would have
Oh,
loved to have met him.
I don't most of us.
Yeah.
Huh?
And that's the thing that it's, as much as I like those big books, like I've got
Yes.
artists that just sit here in front of a bookshelf.
Uh-huh.
So it's so hard if you're going to start getting all that stuff. Where the heck do you put them?
I saw on the image in Google, some guy has made a special like a bookshelf just for the artist editions.
Yeah, I think Damien had a special part of his bookshelf too, where they all sat as well.
But they like on display, like you can see all the
Yeah.
front covers. But I don't know how big the house
Oh,
must
I
be.
see. I see.
So you mean like you can display them like that sideways, like if you have wide enough opening, you can do that. But I saw the guy who just had like the actual like like shelf like on display and stuff.
Yeah.
Cook wore a smoking jacket around the show.
Oh, yeah. And his wife beat the shit out of people.
Oh my, I live in Dubai. I don't think you have time for
Yeah.
any injuries if you're in Dubai. You don't pay any monies in Dubai. I mean,
No.
tax, I mean. Oh my God. And look what.
I mean, there was that infamous story about Darwin
Defenders.
Cook's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. Oh, look at this.
My Defenders book. I have a gripe because it has a 50p on it because I want the dollar sign, but it's a nice thing. I find it very difficult to find but I really like this one. Wait. Look at this. Look at the smiling Doctor Strange, man.
Yeah.
Come on. And
That's good
Submariner.
stuff.
And look at Silver Surfer just chilling, man. Posing.
Yeah, posing.
Yeah.
Package hanging out. There you go. There's your Dan of the cover.
So yeah, it's fantastic. Anyway, sorry, just showing those off.
I was just saying that I don't know if you guys remember that story about Darwin Cook's wife. Wasn't it someone stole her purse and she went after him and caught him, I think was the story, and got her purse back herself. She seemed like she was a bit of a badass as well too. So
that's fantastic. Yay, high five to her. I love girls like that.
Well, and she's gotten into a bit of beefs online because people want to, in Comicsgate, want to claim Darwin Cook as one of their own. So there's been a couple of times where she's kind of chimed in and said, listen, he fucking hated you guys. He didn't agree with anything you stood for. He had certain ideas about things, but he was not one of you, and just kind of made it crystal clear that, no, that's not a thing.
It's nice. One of the best stuff. I like this oversized stuff. I love anything like, honestly, this stuff is great to have tone couple, just to have a share different perspective.
Should I show you the Doctor Strange one that I have or no?
Yeah, go on.
Because I've got that Defenders one as well too.
Yeah.
But I've also got a Doctor Strange one.
The Doctor Strange one is, isn't it like a bit pricey these days now or not? Or
I'm not sure. And I've also got this one too.
Oh yeah, I remember they. How was it? Howler Mouse, the live with the Constant Brown stuff. I think they were showing those up, or they talked about them as well.
I mean, I think I lucked out on some of these. Well, the Doctor Strange one was cheaper because it's all beaten up in the bag and stuff.
Oh yeah,
but I think I lucked out on some of this stuff when I did pick them up that they weren't quite going for what they are now. And then again, because I'm not too crazy about like it being pristine. Like this is pretty beat up, but it's still freaking amazing to have Doctor Strange in treasury size. That's pretty fun. Let's see if I can find. Is there a picture of Eternity in this one? Well, there's some Steve Ditko stuff in here too, which is great to see. The size. Nightmare makes an appearance.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
So you show your Doctor Strange. I'll show you mine. Look.
Here you go. There he is. Well, I mean that one's a freaking stunner, no doubt about it. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's all
big size. No big size.
Oh, look at that. Blah blah blah. Look. Ditko's work.
Amazing. That's amazing.
always have debated whether I should get the Doctor Strange Omnibus Volume 2, because it has Branagh's work in there, and there's lots of collector stuff, which I still have not. Do you have the whole run of that?
I
The
do
volume.
have the whole run of it, yes. And
Oh,
it's
boy.
not runner through the whole thing, but I do have the whole run, and it's been a long time. Excuse me, I don't think I ever finished reading the entire run, but I know that the big chunk that I read, I really, really liked. That era. So once Doctor Strange left Strange Tales, I have that stuff. I've got that whole kind of series, which was what, like 6 or 8 issues or something.
Yeah.
He came back to, so that's kind of technically volume 1. And then volume 2 started off like with Marvel Feature, I think, right before then he finally got his own title. So it's really, really good stuff. Really good.
It's amazing to have own. Thanks to Damien. Damien's
yeah, no, shout out to Damien. That's pretty amazing. Brunner and Gene Colan. I think you're right, Damien. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing surprises me, Gore, with those. If you start feuding about any like nail polish, so you probably feud about that, you know? Like, it just never stops.
Internet beef. It's just a silly thing.
Yeah. So my other last thing I've read really is 2 volumes of the stuff. But it's basically kind of like opened up for me because of the artist, because I haven't like really not read much of his work, like comic format or the collected editions. But I went to the library and I found this to read. Newburn.
Oh, nice.
Did you read that one?
I did not, no, but I know it.
So a lot of people were talking when they come out in single format. So Chip Zdarsky's and Jacob Phillips, great creation. I think it's only 2 volumes, right, people? Because I think I have both of them as well. So this one came out in 2022, collected edition. This collected edition came out in 2024, just to let you guys know. But what I'm talking about is Jacob Phillips. So Jacob Phillips has done quite a bit since, I think, for quite a few things. So Enfield Massacre thing, which is still ongoing, or is it done already?
Sorry, say that again.
You know the Enfield Massacre thing? What is it called?
Yes, the Enfield Massacre is done, but then that's part of that, isn't it? My Texas Blood or whatever it is. I don't know if that main series is still going, but the Massacre one was only a mini series.
Yeah, I know. This is Through and Through Detective, which I absolutely love, as you guys clearly know. So when I was, people was exciting. So this book, like this first volume, introduces you to a Newburn character, ex-copper / now detective, private detective, whatever, investigator. And his name is Easton, which is not really like something I've ever heard of, somebody being called Easton. Is a familiar name to you? Very popular in Canada?
No, not to me, no.
Anyway, so you get introduced to the character straight away from the get-go, and kind of his intent, and all the issues, especially in this volume, felt like one-off. You can actually just read one issue and you probably would be fine. You will find, like, just a nice, great detective storyline. What I'm trying to say about Jacob Phillips, I think I'm becoming a more, like, I know that he's very much influenced by his dad, Sean Phillips. He has lots of influence by him for sure. But I think now you have a little bit more taste of what Jacob Phillips can do by himself without having the dads attached to it. And I find it now, after reading these 2 volumes, I'm becoming more of this fan of work. Not that I didn't like it prior to that, but I just felt like it was way too similar to his dad's work. You know, the sense of it. I think he's much more looser than Dad is, Jacob Phillips. I think I like the way at the beginning feels like he's like some of the panels are quite rushed. I'm talking about faces drawn and stuff like that. But when they have a close up, the faces are well established and stuff like that. So this Newburn character, private investigator, he made this deal with New York mafiosos, which is plenty of them. So there's a Yakuza, there's also Russians, and there's also Italians, like always, and there's other ones. And he's kind of like, they have like cooperative in New York, and they have this Black Castle where they all meet up in hush-hush location, which is like Black Tower Castle, it looks like, in the middle of New York City. And he's basically made them out to investigate all the things what happens between dealings with the mafiosos and whatever, like who gets like shot, and he's going like a private investigator for them. The good maybe for him working is that he is ex-copper. Not that it's good for him with the coppers, but it's good for him to understand the in and outs of the systems, how he can deal and get information, and how he pisses everybody off apparently. And it seems to be has throughout this whole 2-volume issues. I think it came out for how many issues? 16 issues in total. So this run was, but the first issue also introduced you to Emily, a kind of a sidekick of his, or a person who maybe in the future will be taking over his kind of business. It's really a lot of action packed, lots of mystery, like solving kind of like murders quite quickly. Sometimes I felt that the solving was a bit rushed, because as I say, you can read the whole single issue, you'll find out first of all, you find out who gets murdered. The second, by the end of the issue ends, you'll find out who actually is a murderer. So he's extremely kind of genius type of character who can solve the murders ins and outs. And then slowly is like really slowly shows you the background of what the character is all about. It's also showing like kind of like somebody's doing interview, finding out like what he's like stories about a newborn who is untouchable. He has like like coppers can't touch him because they know that he's working for mafiosos, but mafiosos also can't touch him because he knows way too much about mafiosos. So he's kind of in the between. But he's like on a kind of like ledge, like pirates about to be dumped in the water. He's kind of swimming between those two lines, because you never know if he has enough information about somebody, and will he not be murdered by somebody who got pissed off, or he found out they are the murderers. It's really cool running story. As I say, I really liked it. There's lots of journaling by Emily, kind of explanation, things happening. This is the meeting between all the mafiosos in the storyline. You hear whoever is involved, and they have, is the castle scene? I can show you the whole, and this is where they're meeting up, like a medieval Gothic style castle in the middle of New York City. Imagine how that doesn't, like a sore thumb in the middle of all this new buildings and skyscrapers. So not bad storyline. Honestly, I haven't read a lot of detective stories. Are one of my favorite things to read. So it is really, it was a breeze to go through it. Not everything was like smooth. I don't know. Are you a fan of Chip Zdarsky's writing, Terrence?
I haven't read enough of it, but that sounds pretty damn good. It almost sounds like it could be a criminal story. You know what I mean? Like
kind of character
riding both those lines. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of, it's a lot of things happening. It's stylistically very well designed things. It tells you the story. So this kind of breakdown of telling you the time shift really helps. It doesn't make you distracted from the story reading. It doesn't make you get confused who is who and when is this happening and stuff like that. So I really liked it. It's lots of actions packed. And of course, in this one, it's the like a conclusion to this story. It's quite a long story to conclude. But of course, like I said to you, he's really on the thin line, and the mafiosos, because, like chain keeps changing, because the guy who he's, for example, first been employed by has died and his son took over. So he has a problem big time to talk to that son, because son has different ideas how to deal with the business, like that kind of things in the things. It was very different than what I expected. Okay, good. I honestly read like first volume of Daredevil by Chip, and I honestly I did not like it. I didn't feel like it was breathing. Like maybe I have so much more kind of expectations from Daredevil book, like because I know the character more. But when you don't know things, in this one, it just worked really well. I think as I say, Jacobs is becoming like really good at doing anything. He does also explain his coloring schemes. I like his choice of colors, like a dark he used purple to display that it's in the middle of the night and stuff like that. I like that. And he says it also helps him that he's his own colorist as well, which he can also use the color to help to tell the storytelling.
Well, because he did some coloring for his dad too, I think, right?
That's how he started at the beginning, I think.
Yeah.
And then he started to basically get more work going on, and the more he's been doing, of course, he's going to become of his own, hopefully, and less of his what dad has to, has given to him as an inspiration and stuff like that. So a lots of things happening in here, conclusions, like it has a sense of like a kind of Bond type of storytelling, because you have this one guy going in between, and like he's meticulously has this plan how to deal with every situation, every conversation he knows how to go by. He gets into pickle, he always in Emily is actually basically becomes kind of a thorn for him, because she has the past also, like every single one of past. Also very entertaining part was how they explained his past, because it doesn't tell you right until almost the end of the book. He kind of tells you why he became who he was. The importance of Emily's basically involvement in the storyline as well was interesting to see. And of course, his grand plan of escape from being working for them, because when you work for mafiosos, I think the last thing you will think of is actually go on holidays in somewhere in Dubai, let's say this way, and say, "C'est vie, ça va," I'm having my life now, because but you have to have some sort of plan to escape or completely disappear and change your identity in order to do so. So it kind of happens in here, but I'm not going to say how. But yeah, really entertaining. It's as I say, it was easy to read, which is sometimes in detective storylines they go over too many details. Sometimes I felt like they could have a bit more details, how they dissect the story, like how the murder happened, but it's kind of very breezy. I think maybe it was intentional way of get our as a reader attention going. So, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. So it's those 2 volumes, and my library had it, which is like sometimes it's surprising me. Like sometimes they don't have anything for me, and suddenly both of those, like libraries usually don't have volume 1s because somebody else will pick that up.
Yeah, right.
And then you luck out to get both of them in the same time. It's like, oh yes, of course I'm.
Yeah.
I would like them to have that Enfield Massacre thing, but of course they don't. So I might have to somehow, like in the future, look out, because it opened my eyes a bit more to Jacob Phillips. It's more of like copycat. It's more like as an artist more now. I have a way more appreciation about his style. Not that I disliked him before. I'm trying not to say that. I'm just saying that it's really.
Well, I think you're right though. Like there was the point. I mean, even now, it's you can still see his dad's influence.
Oh yeah, Dick. Yeah.
But not maybe as much as you once could. So you're right. Like seeing him kind of start to develop, and I'm just curious about that Enfield Gang Massacre, how they're gonna reprint that, because part of the enjoyment of that was the paper they were using, the kind of package itself, the covers all connected. There was like some front and back matter that were kind of part of the world. So I'd be curious how they handle all that stuff in a collection, if they use that same paper or not specifically, because that really helped bring me into the whole world, Yeah.
So I definitely wanted to get that Texas Blood to read, because as I say, I'm now more intrigued. If I see how Chip was doing Batman, because he does detective storytelling quite well. He's establishing the scenes really well when he's writing, the way the dialogue works, between the characters when they go into the scene. They meet the coppers. Coppers like, I'll do a favor because you're in our pockets. You have to show me the scene, how you approach that scene. It's like that kind of small details I love. I'm a fan of Law and Order, for example, one of my favorite stuff. So in that kind of sense, it kind of makes me even more giddy when I'm reading stuff like that in the comic format. But yeah, I mean, it's not as good as Criminal.
Yeah, right.
Criminal has its own level of details and exactly. But this is definitely very entertaining. And I guess people who has any inclinations towards the detective storylines, this should be quite entertaining for anybody to read. So I'm glad I have finally managed, because the minute I saw this, the way you see books displayed, of course, are this. But then I was like, oh, I know this. I think so. And then, of course, I took it out and I saw this cover. I straight away got familiar with this, because I remember lots of people were talking about in single format. So yeah, quite a lot of reading. Cool. I mean, 16 issues to read in a go is not such a small read. Single issues
No,
is
for
really
sure.
easy to read.
Yeah.
You realize when you start reading more collected stuff how much you have to kind of go through.
Yeah.
Go on, your turn.
So I read issue number 1 of Jessica Abel's Art Babe. So this is volume 2, and it's got to be 95, 97, maybe. It really, the first thing that stood out to me is this was incredibly 90s. Yeah, 1997. This was very much 90s. I'm actually surprised it was late 90s. I would have guessed like 94 or 95. It wasn't bad. I don't know if I loved it. It was good, good enough story. So we have kind of two main characters, male and a female. We start off with the male, and he's applying for a job in this office where he's going to be the mailman for the office staff. I think it's like a call center, and he meets this girl that he's had a crush on for the longest time. So we get a chunk of a story from his perspective. And they've agreed to kind of go out for a couple of drinks, and under the idea of she's going to kind of tell him how the company is, see if she can give him any inside information so he can do better in his interview. And then we cut to her perspective of everything that we've just read. So we find out she's always had a crush on him too. And is this a date? And, you know, like I said, it was okay. There was nothing horribly wrong with it. It was just kind of personal dynamics with a new relationship and things, and the art is pretty solid overall. It kind of got a little more interesting as it went through, because there's a lot of like, they both come back from their date thinking it's been an absolute nightmare and how they screwed it up and all these kind of things, you know. So and they finally, so it was this kind of stuff here that really felt 90s. There was this kind of, I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, just the talk of the music that they're listening to on the radio, the idea of like wanting to get out there and experience the world and kind of coming of age kind of thing. There was some quality to it that really resonated with me from like early 90s, of kind of the feel of that time period. Obviously now, because we're so far away from it, there's for sure a little bit of sense of nostalgia, not a ton of it, but a little bit plays into it. So I just found it okay. Again, it was one of those other ones that if I saw more, I would get them, but I don't know if I'm going to jump out and really try to hunt these down. The cover's pretty nice there too. So they end up kind of having this horrible date. They each go back to their kind of besties, and their best friends kind of take them out to kind of work it off. They end up in the same bar, and they're sort of forced again to have another conversation to see if they can rekindle something. And it's still just as awkward as the date. So as he's walking home with his friend, he takes her number out of his pocket and throws it away. So you think that maybe he's given up, until at the last page, he kind of says, well, wait a second, runs back, picks up the number, puts it in his pocket anyway, because hasn't quite given up. So it was Fantagraphics, and it really fit in with that kind of era of Fantagraphics, indie, autobiographical kind of books of the time. So yeah, pretty cool.
Cool. Well, you can continue with your reading, because as I say, it's done.
Oh, you're done. Then there's only two more, and I don't really have much to say about them because they weren't that exciting. Again, more stuff from Nate. Some of this stuff, it had a couple of good things going for it, like stuff like this Wu Wei issue number 3. It's a one-man anthology. It's all black and white stuff. It kind of has a look that I respond to a little bit. I was just, again, a little disappointed. This had, I think, 3 different stories in it, or 4 different stories that were okay. It was one of those, though, where the art was a little too clean. It didn't have enough of that kind of character that I like, even though there was things going on with the pages that I did respond to. It was almost, it's that level of competency where it's like, I need you to either be a little bit worse or a little bit better. You know, it just sat in a kind of bland sort of place. There's a story here talking about his father and his time spent in war. So there's some photos mixed in with the art, and it's this guy kind of, after his father's passed away, he's finding some information about his dad as he's going through paperwork and stuff and getting to know a little bit of his history. So that one was kind of entertaining. Well, I mean, it was maybe not entertaining is maybe a bad way to put it, but it was a little more of an interesting story. And then there was a few of these strips called Tatters where you're sort of engaged with the character on the page. The character's really interacting with the reader. This style I responded to a little bit more. I always like these kind of chunky black lines that sort of make up the image. It feels a little rougher. But again, it's also cool just to see how our brains play with some of these images and put them into a character or clothing or an arm. So yeah, and then a couple of pages from Sketchbook, and he talks about working out ideas.
Yeah.
So it was okay, and it actually went, I think, like 8 issues, and I think again this was a self-published book. So, and then the last one that I read, Pentacle, the Sign of the Five, issue number 4, the epic struggle of magic and power, and this one was interesting. The top group of people, they're called the Warlock Five. Warlock 5 was an Aircel book that I love personally, or at least a good chunk of them I really love. This one had some moments that reminded me of kind of Keith Giffen. There was something about kind of his character design, but also like the world and the kind of storytelling. Because you're jumping in on issue 4. This is the last issue of the mini series. You're just catching up on everything that's been going on. Hello, Chaos and Comics. You're just catching up on everything that's been going on. So you sort of have these nuggets of someone's got the warlock power that they're going to pass to someone else. And there's a woman who's sort of like a vampire that can suck the soul out of people, her followers and stuff, which is what's happening here. So it's kind of nuts. And just the way the kind of story transitions page to page, it really felt like Ambush Bug when he was kind of making poking fun at that Thriller series and stuff. So yeah, there was a little bit of qualities to it that reminded me of Giffen, but nowhere near as entertaining. But I mean, that's the gamble with some of this stuff. Again, Eternity is another one of those companies that, I don't know, I just think you're oftentimes better, especially if they're dirt cheap, picking it up than leaving it behind, because there's some fun stuff that they put out. What's that? What happened?
No, you say the way you say pick it up, don't leave it behind. I always thought about, I don't know why you say it, but I thought about toilet paper.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the beautiful thing. I mean, there's a softness to this paper. You could use it for that as well. Choppy Brush Style reminds me of John Muth. Yeah. So yeah, fun enough. But again, another one that if I saw the rest in the dollar bin, I would grab them for sure. And then most importantly, the back cover ad for
Jeremiah. That's why for the Eternity comic books now it gets me, because you sent me Jeremiah books. Do you remember?
Yes, and that was Adventure. So Fantagraphics put those ones out. I think I sent you a Fantagraphics one. But yes, it did come out. Yeah, I sent you some single issues as well too. You're correct. I don't remember if those were Eternity or not. You're probably right though.
I know Jeremiah though because of you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have no clue about Jeremiah anyway.
It's great. It's really great stuff.
Talking about something coming out, so you know your Dimwood coming out this month, yes?
Comes out this week. Dimwood.
Yeah. I know you're excited. So there's an article about it in Comics Beat website. I don't know if you follow them or Joel or you.
I don't. I know about it, but I don't follow them. No.
So apparently they show you exclusive images from what the I can't pronounce his surname. The guy who remastered his work for that Dimwood specifically.
Jose Villarrubia.
Yes, Jose Villarrubia. Thank you very much. Yeah. So they're talking about that and showing some of the pages as well. So if you want to, if you can't wait for this couple of days, you have to go for it.
I mean, I might not be able to get to the comic shop this week, so I think I would take a sample. Like we start. I'm really going to be working like crazy this week now, because now we go to Cameron. They start shooting on the 18th, so we've got a big studio rig to kind of deal with. So I think I'm going to be pretty busy. I don't think I'm going to get a chance to sneak away.
Well, so is that means you can say who you're working on? You have to be hush hush.
Yeah, I kind of can't. Yeah, I kind of can't. Yeah, you're right.
I just want to see if you
I
said
can
that.
tell you that the director is pretty amazing.
Oh, okay.
It has there's been parts of it out in the paper here, so this part I can tell you.
Uh-huh.
So the Killing Fields was kind of an infamous movie. It's the
Uh-huh.
director that did that Killing Fields that's
Mhm.
directing this one. And it's cool. It's November 1963 is what it's called, and it's about JFK. So it's gonna be an interesting one. So
So is that means that it's in the past, so you have to set all the scenes in a different light and blah blah blah.
correct, yeah. So part of the survey was talking about
Uh-huh.
where we're shooting and looking at some of the shots, and then they're talking about stuff that's going to be there. I was talking to the picture vehicles guys. They've had to source a bunch of cars from that era, and obviously the cars need to be in really nice shape because we're in the era. We're not looking back at it, so they can't have a beater, right, that they have to fix up.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge because again, at the end of the day, for some of this stuff, like
Yeah.
we're in the prairies, and I think some people think that it's easy to get stuff here. It's like, well, we're in the middle of the country. We
Yes.
kind of can't just go to Toronto and pick something up, or Vancouver. Like if we need to get stuff from out of the province, it needs to come. Even for camera equipment, cranes were a big thing. Camera cranes were something they
Mhm.
always wanted, and they would give us like a day's notice. It's like, we kind of need like 2 weeks notice so we can get the quotes in, get all that side of it done, but then
Uh-huh.
make sure that it gets shipped out and it stays here for X amount of days. And,
Oh
so
boy. But it's
yeah.
exciting, no? I mean, in a way. I mean, for you, money wise, because you have like work to do. Because
I
it's the
mean,
right.
it's less exciting for me than it is for other people
Yeah,
because,
but
it's for
yeah.
me, I've been doing it 20 years now. So it's a job, or 21 years, actually. It's a job to me.
Oof.
And
Mhm.
also with this one, like I'm not on set, I'm working off set. So I'm not going to
Oh,
see much of that action. My wife is working on set actually for it.
I
So I'm going to be off rigging studios, unloading trucks, going to get ahead of the thing and set up some things for them at locations they're going to be at the next day,
yeah.
cleaning up stuff that they came from, which is great. I love that stuff, but I won't be as kind of in the shit as everybody else will.
I was always wondering how do they get sourced those cars? I thought they maybe kind of like they make them like shell out of it only kind of thing and
I
work on
mean,
that.
a lot of it is who you have as your picture vehicles guy. Like these guys are hot rod. These are car guys. So
Uh,
they know like the car guys in the province, and they know where to go and who owns cars. So they know kind of the worlds to kind of travel in. Plus, then if there is any work that needs to be done, they also have the skills where they can do it. Like one of the cars, for example, they have to weld onto the car frame some receivers for us to put pipe on, because one of the shots is we've got to build a platform
uh,
outside of the car for a cameraman to sit on so he can
uh,
look into the car as it's driving.
yeah.
So we've got to build something like that, which in my mind, there's other tools for it. There's a
Yeah.
thing called a camera car where you can literally drive the car on it, and
Yeah.
and it gets towed. It's like a towing vehicle, but they don't want to go that way. It's not my call. So the car guys have to weld these points to it where we can now put some pipe through to make a sturdy platform and triangulate it and all sorts of stuff. So some of the car rigs on this one are going to be fun to play with, I think.
Yeah.
And especially because so far we're going to have time to play with them too, which is always the most important thing. We have a couple of days to play with the cars and the buses and see what's going to work and see what's going to be the best for the camera setup.
So this is it. Where is the movie set though? Not in Canada, is it?
In Dallas, yeah. So it's
In Dallas.
set right around like his assassination and stuff, yeah.
Oh, you're
And
going that route.
one of the guys that's on the show has spent a lot of time in Dallas. And as we were going and looking at some of the buildings, he's like, he's from out of town. I've worked with him before. He's from Saskatchewan, but he was saying some of our buildings, like it's uncanny how much it
Yeah.
looks like Dallas. Some of the buildings downtown, and especially what we're gonna see, like you're just seeing sections of it. He's like, no, this is really going to play well as a Dallas of the era. So,
It's funny that they're not doing that in the big city of Dallas, though.
I mean, I think it's probably quite a bit more difficult to do it in a
Oh
big
yeah,
city like that, which is also
yeah,
the bonus of coming to Winnipeg. It's much easier
cheaper.
to do that stuff here, which is
Mm.
also why people come here. The tax credit, obviously, they save a lot of money coming here, but then our city really can play as a bunch of actual different cities and stuff. Yeah, so it feels like exactly, yeah, just a straight shot north. So Gore, you'll feel right at home here.
Yeah, you keep on telling to go to move to Winnipeg, the
Yeah,
prairies.
I
But then
mean we have lots of space.
But then isn't it Dallas have mountains? Or I'm not really good at that thing.
I mean, honestly, I've never been to Texas, so I don't know. All I know is it's directly
Easy.
south because he's in the same time zone as I am. So
Oh, is it? Oh, okay, cool.
yeah.
I see. Well, no, I would probably, it's, that sounds exciting, like rigging stuff up, building something from scratch. I like that stuff. I mean, I would
Oh yeah,
probably,
it is fun. And the guy
because
that I
then
have working with me,
yeah.
has a lot of experience too. So we're gonna have a good time. I think like it's gonna be good. Yeah, we're going tomorrow to get some training for a piece of construction equipment called a telehandler. So we have to go and get a certificate to be able to drive that. And then forklift, we're getting a ticket for forklift tomorrow as well too. So
Sounds like a
yeah,
playground if you like stuff. I mean,
it really is.
I like, like I think I never appreciate maybe, like when you watch the movie, you finish and you have all these people's names on the going in cast and whatever.
Mhm.
And there's so many people just to do a minuscule little thing, but they part of the crew. And I honestly, I would, because it's so much different stuff you always do, like depends where the era of the time of the movie you make, all that stuff. So always is new something, like it sounds like, but yours work is more physical, isn't it? Because you have to,
Ours is all physical. Yeah, ours is manual labor. It's a manual labor job. Like we're not in the, and my wife does makeup, so she's in the pretty department. She has different things to deal with. She's got weirdo actors to deal with, which I am not envious of because some of them are some of the stories she's told me, I would never survive it. They're just a fucking breed, and I think that, that's also that kind of stuff sours you a little bit. Like, I love movies. I'll still watch movies. It is hard sometimes to shut off your filmmaking brain when you're watching something. You can see some of those edges.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is fun, and especially our job, like in the grip department, it's a lot of fun. And it's nice to be back and seeing people because this is my first full-time, well, my second full-time show, but my first full-time show back in like the key position. So I'm the key rigging grip on it. So I'm the boss of that side. So it's the first full show of doing that, right? So
does it still make you nervous or are you okay? Because
no, it doesn't make me nervous. There's a couple of things that the biggest thing that makes me nervous is finding people to work with me because there's another big series going on right now, and that's eaten up a lot of people in town. So it took me a while to find somebody to work with me because it's two of us in our department that are full-time, and then we'll have like dailies for some of the labor and stuff. So this guy that I have working with me, I don't really know him, so I've just gotten to know him over the past couple of days. Super good guy, has got a lot of experience. He's got a lot of experience with stage rigging. He's dealt with a lot of the stuff that we're going to be dealing with. So it makes me feel super comfortable that if I don't know something, chances are he is. And the few gaps that he has, I know some of that stuff too, right? So I think we're going to be okay because that's the biggest worry. I don't want to be surrounded by people that don't know what we're doing because that's just going to make it more difficult, right?
Yeah, it still sounds exciting. I just love DIY.
Yeah.
There's something like, like this stuff. It's a different.
Well, and there's a
I'm
lot
not
of
into makeup, so.
No, but there's a lot of other departments though where a lot of film is problem solving. Like a lot of it is, yes, you have a schedule and yes, there's things to do. Yes, there's some specialty tools for it, but there's a lot of you show up at a space and you have to make whatever it is happen and you have to figure it out because you only have a limited amount of time. So there's lots of problem solving. It's fun for that kind of stuff. Sometimes.
I was it's funny, nothing in the movies, but my son had to do dress up once again because there was unfortunate thing happened in school and they were memory of the girl who actually unfortunately passed but from cancer, and her favorite thing was to dress up as trolls, and that's not an easy thing to do for a child. Come to realize I worked so hard for 2 days. I made everything, his hat with hat with the hair. I made outfit and everything, and I worked so hard. And come to school, and guess what? None of the mothers could be bothered to do it, and I was more working my ass off. Like I wanted. And my son is like almost that morning wanted to say to me he doesn't want to wear it. Like, and I was like, look at him, son.
You're
for
wearing
one day only, just wear this for me.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I have a very good son who listened. And I told that to other mothers, and mothers were complaining because nobody wanted to dress up. And it's like everybody wants to dress up on Halloween, but it's one day in the random day in the middle of the year, nobody wants to. So
Yeah.
but now he has this plan for me. Now I need to make him a ninja outfit. Oh my god!
Oh,
You
geez.
like when
You've shown your hand.
yeah, I know. And I was working on those hair, and I found the solution. And he was everybody was complimenting. For the first time, I got compliments from other mothers. It's like, wow, that feels like really weird. I don't expect anything compliments for anybody. But this time they actually came to me to tell me I did a really good job. I was like, oh, wow. Like when you're in a small village and you kind of like find it really hard sometimes with people around you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of interesting. But that kind of part of the like stress in a way, I actually really enjoyed it because it's like almost problem solving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like that.
Anyway. Sorry, 1 second. I just got to send I'm just realizing I got to send a message quickly here.
Oh, you remember something important. Uh-oh. Oh, so I wanted to ask while you're texting, and hopefully I'm not disturbing your brain too much, but have you managed to pick up issue 3 of Martian Manhunter?
No, I haven't because I didn't get a chance to get to the shop because I think that came out last week, didn't it?
No, I don't know. But
this past Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever.
What I wanted to ask, is it ongoing or is it a mini?
I guarantee it's a mini series. I just don't know how many issues.
Because all the absolutes, like Batman Absolute, is in issue like 7, 8, 9, or whatever that number. And it seems to be says ongoing. So I was wondering because all the absolute so far, even Wonder Woman, I think, is in like some crazy numbers. So I wonder if they're gonna continue with that, if it's popular enough. Because I heard all the very good stuff. You say very good stuff about it because of course the artist. And then the guy who's writing it, do you like the way he's writing the story?
I do. I genuinely like it. Actually, it's pretty good. Which also reminds me, sorry, sort of a change, not total change of subject. Because the other thing I got was Doctor Strange, Sorcerer's Supreme, and that same artist is in here as well too. Rodriguez is in here. Speaking of him, yes. Let's see if I can find you some of the. So I think I might have messed up. I think there's 2 volumes of this, and I think I might have had it already and then traded it in and now have just bought volume 1 back. But I don't know why I would have gotten rid of these because they're Doctor Strange. So he does he doesn't do the entire thing, but there is quite a bit of his art. So it'll be just another opportunity to dig into his art. But yes, as far as the Martian Manhunter stuff goes, it's really, really good. His art is unreal, and I do enjoy the writing. I think it's pretty solid so far. The kind of angle they're taking on Martian Manhunter. Like, look at this dude. Mobius, anybody? Isn't that like a very Mobius looking? Yeah. So anyway,
that's cool. No, but because if I can get hold of those issues, apparently it's now 3 issues out. So if we can get hold of because I'm now thoroughly debating because since I read that 2 issues of Martian Manhunter, I have this itch. I want more of the stories. Like I really do like those obscure DC characters a lot more than I thought I am. Because the more I read, I get more excited about reading those because it's just not your conventional guys, like those whatever Justice League, even though he's a part of Justice League of America.
Yeah.
But it's just like seems to be something maybe I should not miss out because I heard that there's somebody reviewing is saying that's very trippy as well. They're not atypical storyline as well.
Well, and also if you see the Zatanna, if that's been collected, you should grab that too because that was a really fun miniseries as well. So they both did great on that one.
Didn't you say that he's getting an award for that Zatanna run?
I think they're up for Eisners or something, or I don't know. They're up for some awards. Yeah, I think it's the Eisners. I don't really remember. I don't follow.
I don't care about the awards, but it's nice to have the person like that getting recognition deservedly. You know what I mean? Because he's definitely doing something amazing. So, okay, cool. All right. So I am going to take a plunge because I've been hearing way too many goods, and I'm late because like all those things number ones I usually goes. Do you know that Batman has 7 printing number 1? 7th.
Really?
Yeah. So
it's crazy.
It's a lot. 7th for Batman. I mean, Batman's always sells. But now they debate. Like I heard somebody reviewing that some of the run. I don't know how many issues there has been out for Batman Absolute, but I heard somebody telling they already comparing it to a as important as Dark Knight Returns. Apparently, they slapping
Wow.
that part.
Wow.
I think it's a bit much already. You know, like you haven't yet finished the run, but if people are getting exciting about it, I guess it's a good thing for comic books in general. I think DC in generally is very positive lately. I hear a lot of positiveness from DC production, more than I hear from Marvel.
Something right then.
Yeah, Marvel is not really doing well at all, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I don't have any more to share, unfortunately. Yes, yeah, bring those guys back. I actually rewatched. Talking about watching, I forgot. I rewatched the whole Hawkman TV series.
Right.
And I loved it. Hawkeye. Yes. Sorry, yeah, Hawkeye. I loved it. I still enjoyed it. I was thinking maybe it wouldn't be, it wouldn't kind of like it wasn't a long time ago it was released, but you know, when you watch it once, usually sometimes you don't really want to watch it again. But I rewatched it, still funny as hell, especially when
Lillian really liked it. She really liked it. She's talked about it a couple of times, even just recently. She talked about that.
It's good. It's good that she is the one who's talking about it, not like her age, especially. That's what basically good to know. Maybe new generation will come up with it. But now it's an up in the air because they basically offered the main Hawkeye, the actor. I'm blanking his name. But they didn't offer him like half of the price of what he earned from season 1. It's like, what the hell, man? Why would you treat the person like that as well? But that's Disney for you. So I'm wondering.
That's a bit crazy.
So I'm wondering that means that Hawkeye no more TV show, I guess, or anything else of Hawkeye is because of that problem.
I mean, I imagine if they're not going to pay him what he wants, he's not going to do the show. And then what the hell are you going to do?
He said that out loud in the interviews.
Yeah,
he's the other one. Outspokenly said to them that. Even the interviews, they asked about it, and I remember clearly him saying that, like, I'm not doing this. What do you expect me to earn less for what I've done before? How? How is that possible? Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy.
Are we done?
I think so.
Nothing else to add? Nothing to Dimwood, people. If you don't want it, you want
Dimwood this week.
Yeah. If you want to get excited about Richard Corbin or not completely involved in buying every single issue of that release, you can get them.
Brand new, never been released before. Was working on it before he passed away. Jose Villarrubia finished it off, apparently. I don't know how much work he put into it. But so the first time this is getting printed. So with Richard Corbin stuff, you know the way it goes with that stuff. I mean, with a lot of people, but specifically Corbin, if you miss out on the book, chances are it's not going to be easy to get your hands on, and that price will start upticking. So a little bit of FOMO for your Sunday afternoon, but I am excited about it. I can't wait to just read it personally. I just can't wait to see some Richard Corbin that I've never read before. I'm very excited about that, especially as after the long slog of Dan is now finally done. So.
A long slog, but which you own everything of it.
Of course, because that's who I am. I need to have it all for the Corbin library. I need to have that whole library is what I'm shooting for.
Oh, how many books intended?
However many books they do, I want to get them all. I'd love to have a good set of it, you know.
Do you know the map? How many books they're planning to do?
I mean, they've announced, so there's this one, they've announced Rolf is next, and then they've announced Rat God. So, and then Villarrubia has said that he's been working on the Arabian Nights book. So that's maybe going to be
would be something I would like to.
And I'm very much excited about that because I'm very much excited that a lot of people will get to read it because it's really good. So I think it's one of his stronger works. So I'm excited for that, to see a nice hardcover release.
Cool. Yeah. There you go. Okay, then. Are we done? Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah. Smash that like.
Like we all did.
Follow us on Patreon.
Oh, you have one?
No, God, no. No, I'm just kidding. Totally kidding.
All right. Thank you very much for coming out and talking and putting some piece of information for us as well to share with everybody. And we'll say bye-bye.
So long.